This demonstration we're going to look at creating and modifying a task sequence. A task sequence is literally a list of steps that we run against the device in order, in our case, to installing an operating system. Once we've created that task sequence, we'll then have a look at how we can modify a task sequence, and then finally what we need to do is just distribute that task sequence so that we can then use that to install our Windows operating system. I've come into my Configuration Manager console. Within my Configuration Manager console, I've come to my Software Library workspace, I've come to my Operating Systems node, and I've come down to Task Sequences. So to create a task sequence, we just right click and we create a task sequence. What this will do is this will bring us into Wizard, and we have 5 options for the task wizard at this point here. So what we can do is we can either go with some of the default steps, or we could customize it and we could create our own set of task sequences. So the one we're going to go for is installing an existing image package. But as you can see, we can build and capture a reference computer, upgrade an operating system from an upgrade package, or deploy Windows Autopilot for existing devices. So this is down to our Windows 10 devices. We are, like we said, installing an existing image package. So we'll select Next. We have to give it a name. Just going to call this Deploy Windows 10 Enterprise x64 Evaluation. We'll just specify our boot image that we're going to use for this. And what we're going to do is we're going to use our x64. And we'll select OK. Now we've done that, happy with everything else on here, so we'll just select Next. That then brings us into Install Windows. So what we need to do in Install Windows is, the first thing we have to do is we have to actually specify our package. So we'll go for the one that we installed or updated or loaded in an earlier demonstration and select OK. Happy with the image index at this point here. Moving down, partition and format the target computer before installing the operating system. Yes, we're happy with that. What we are going to do though is we are going to clear the tick box to configure task sequence to use BitLocker. Deploying this to a virtual machine, really don't have BitLocker. Specify the licensing information. This is based on the fact that we are pushing this out to a lab environment, so we're not going to bother with the product key at this point, so we won't specify any server licensing. Never happy with randomly generated passwords. I know it says recommended, but I'm going to enable the account and specify a password. Now we put in our password and confirmed our password. What we'll do is we'll just select Next. That brings us into configure our network. So what we actually want to do with this operating system when we deploy it is we do want to join it to our directory domain. We'll browse this through. We're going to add that into a datum and select OK. I'm also, for my domain OU, just going to put this into my London clients and select OK. Then we need to specify an account that has permission to join the domain, so we'll select our Set button. And what we have created for us is we have created for us by our Active Directory team a user account called domain join. And then we'll specify the password and confirm the password. So we've got our domain join, specify the password, we'll select OK. Happy with everything that we have in here, so we'll select Next. Then we have our install our config manager client. So yes, we are going to install our config manager client. I'm happy with all the options here, so we're going to disable site option. What we're also going to do as well is specify the cache, drive, and specify max size. So that would be about 5 gig in the case of our lab environment. And our fallback status point will be lon-cfg. So we're happy with all that information. We'll select Next. This is a bare metal install, so with it being a bare metal install, there is no state to capture. So let's just get rid of those options and select Next. Include any updates. We won't install any software updates at this point here. Again, it's a lab environment, but we could make available for installation all software updates or just the mandatory updates. We'll select Next. We're also not going to add any applications at this point, so we'll select Next. Read through our summary. We're happy with everything. Select Next. Then select our Close button, and now what we've done is we've now created a task sequence. One of the things we want to do though is we just do want to edit this task sequence just to modify a couple of settings based off the operating system install. So let's just come to our task sequence, let's right click and let's just edit. And then what we'll do is we're just going to come down and we're just going to modify a couple of settings. So really the ones that we want to do here is we just want to come to our apply Windows settings. Really not happy with the username of administrator, so let's just change that. And we're going to modify that to say a.datum IT services, and we're just going to change the organization name as well. We're going to leave everything else. Just before we select OK though, as we can see here, what we can do is we can move up a task sequence. We can move this one up, we can move it down, or What we can also do is group things together. We can remove and we can add entries as well. However, we're just going to select OK. So that point there, what we've done is we've created a task sequence, we modified the task sequence. In the next demo video, what we'll do is we'll then deploy that task sequence and use it to install an operating system. Thank you.